fix, but it was just. Oh, hang on. Didn't mean to do that.
Oh.
Closed.
Taking on the test data challenges. I realise we're already live when this happens, but I've got to tell people that we're live, and then.
Oh, I watch even the pros, and the first thing they're doing is like, right, got to go onto Twitter now because I've just got the URL and all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
So even
It's part and
Restream, like
parcel.
Restream makes it easy here, but it's not as easy to view event. There you go. Copy that.
Let's
Marks
do
in
the,
the way. Get rid of that.
Stream chat.
Go back to this. Put that there. Copy and paste that. Tweet that. LinkedIn that. Job done. Start
Oops.
a post. Post that. 2-bit tester becomes Mark Winterinkle.
The one, the only,
Post
Mark
that.
Winfrey.
Read your notification while you're at it. Nothing interesting. Close that. All right.
20 minutes later, I'm still here.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is our final one, isn't it? I believe, or is there one tomorrow? I'm not sure.
We have a wild card for tomorrow night, but we haven't had any suggestions yet.
Okay, we'll share that later.
Yeah, we can see what goes on.
Cool. So, welcome everyone. I'm Richard Bradshaw, and I am actually back for this stream. So I'm with Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hooray! He's back, and I have my voice back. Hooray! Hi, I'm the croaky one, Mark, that you've been listening to maybe from the last couple of streams. Yeah, it's good to have you back, Richard.
Thank you.
It's a bit lonely when it's only the voices in your head that are disagreeing with how you're implementing stuff.
I've been coding all day. I know the pain. So, yeah, we're on the test data challenge. So if you're not familiar with Automation Week, head to the club.ministrytesting.com and check out the Automation Week. It's happening this week. There's been a whole day of workshops last night. I think there's actually a workshop happening right now, which is bad timing on our behalf, but I think there's a workshop happening right now. And then there is test.bash on Thursday, which I believe is shaping up really nice. I've not been around as much the last few days, so I've not been involved, but I saw some more speakers on here. Yes, look at that.
Yeah.
Filling up nicely.
Yeah, definitely got some interesting experience reports that are going to come through, and quite a wide range.
Fantastic. So, but today there hasn't been a submission for test data, which is surprising to me.
Well, that's not true. We have had one submission, but I think the submitter is what they've submitted is a solution to a different problem. So they haven't submitted something for the challenges, but they have submitted some interesting ideas around like setting up data for performance testing, which is quite cool and timely given the work that we have to do this evening. And then I can't remember, there was another one that was mentioned as well, but that one escapes me. But there was some interesting stuff around like stored procedures and how to use those and leverage those.
Fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take on these two challenges. We're going to do the first one. We kind of covered this the other day, but I'm going to revisit it anyway, just because I don't think it will take us too long. And then we are going to look at number 2, which is basically building something that enables you to get data easily. And me and Mark have a particular pattern called the test data builder pattern, which we're probably going to have a shot at implementing or extending, because I'm pretty sure we already have some of it somewhere in the RESTful Booker project.
You'd be surprised how little there is, actually.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
Well, we are using a product called RESTful Booker Platform, which is a product built by Mark and minimal contributions by myself.
I could even count the lines of code.
True.
Wonder
to
if any of them
basically
are left.
No, it's just that them three there. To basically a playground to practice automation. So this is kind of the main platform that people have been doing their Automation Week challenges on. And we are going to tackle challenge number 1, which involves looking at a specific page inside the app, which is called the reporting page. So challenge number 1 says create a JSON file that can be used to mimic the response of the report API. That JSON file should contain 1,000 valid entries. So the way I would go about tackling this one is, well, what is the response from the report API? So my go-to is usually the network tab. So if we reload this, and we can hopefully grab the report API, there we go, and we can have a look at the response. And I don't think Chrome will beautify that for me. So we'll go to Mark's favourite website, jasonlint.com.
Woohoo! Love this.
We'll
I found a
paste that
YAML.
in
I found a YAML one recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, that made my day because I'm constantly committing misconfigured YAML files when I'm doing build stuff. And actually, which was really interesting last night was that Josh Grant, who gave a workshop last night, who was doing CI/CD pipeline stuff, he got caught out by exactly the same thing, misconfigured YAML files.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, linters are handy.
Hey Marlon, thank you for watching on YouTube. So yeah, we are going to mimic this. So as you can see, we have an array called report. Just zoom in on that a little bit more. We have an array called report, which has 3 properties: start date, end date, and a title. So we need to mimic that 1,000 times. So you could just sit here if you really wanted to, Mark. What do you reckon, a stream of this? How long can you bear this for?
Well, I've got a quick errand to do, so you have fun. And I'll,
we are, Marlon. We're going to solve the data challenges in this live, yes. We've been doing streams all week about the other challenges.
Yep,
but
they're
today,
all on YouTube as well, if you
Yep.
want to check them out.
But today we're going to solve the data challenge. So we're not going to sit there and copy and paste because it's guaranteed to go wrong and Mark would leave, which is problematic. So we're actually going to use a tool we used the other day called Mockaroo. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with Mockaroo, but it's basically a test data generation API that you can use via an API, or you can actually use on their website to download all sorts of data. And they've categorized things for you, so you can get models of cars, you can get cities, you can get first names, family names, all sorts of wonderful different types of data. But obviously ours are quite standard. Now, like I said, I am going to cheat on this one because we know how to do this. So I'm just going to get rid of the existing fields. And if I flip back to, I closed JSON lint. No, I didn't. Let's put this back to how it was so it doesn't look terrible. There we go. We can see the first thing we need is a report array. So in Mockaroo, we do that using what they've got an array. So we can just click on that, and then we say how many we want. And if you think back to the challenge, we need 1,000. So that gives us an array now, which won't do anything because it doesn't ask us to do anything. It'll probably break, I reckon. Oh no, just gives me 1,000 empty objects. Very nice. So if we flip back to JSON, start date is the first thing we need. So the way the array works is if you do report.start, it will then add that inside the array that you mentioned above.
Because it's basically it's following the same principles of like JSON, like looking up items from JSON objects, or in JavaScript in general, which it's a sensible way of doing it, really, rather than having some horrendous UI where you've got things that are indented in and belong to things, parents and stuff. You want year, month, day.
Yeah, month, day. There
That's
we go.
the one. Yep.
So that gives us. No way, Helgi, how you doing, mate? I'm gonna put this on the stream. My friend Helgi is a awesome developer I used to work with. Oh God,
Oh.
it's 5? No, it's got to be more than 5. At least 8 years ago. Yeah, long time no see, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Hi, Helgi. I'm also here. But hi.
Yeah, Mark's here too. The last thing we wanted was, the second thing was an end date. So we're going to do exactly the same again, and the same format. But instead of this time round, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do the formula
do you remember
mark. Well, I'm actually going to try and do start. I think it's like that.
I imagine you. Okay. Yeah.
I think it's that, but
Close
it
bracket.
might be wrong.
Close bracket. Close bracket.
Oh.
Go.
Close bracket? Yeah.
Yeah, you got 1, 2. Thank
Cool.
you very much, Helgi.
So I'm not sure if that will work. Let's have a look. Probably shouldn't have done 1,000. Not found.
Error field not found. Yeah, so I think that you don't need to put the field method in there.
Is it just start?
I think it is just start, and it somehow magically just knows that it's you're referring to
Whoa.
that date.
Okay, yeah, now I've got too many.
Yeah. Comma, not dash. It's two. Yeah, so it's 2 parameters.
Excellent. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
There we go. Nice one.
So, yeah, they're going in order. I'm getting timestamps, though, which is something I need to solve now, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah. I
So I
thought of
think
another
we
way
now
you
have
could
to
do this,
do-
actually. You could just do
You
dot
have to do
split.
that, I think you can do two date string now or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I know we use the strift time, the starter time thing. But
Yeah.
since it's a timestamp, actually, you could just split it on the T, and then just have the first entry show. So it's a bit lazier, but yeah, because it's a string, just split it on the T, and then
Oh,
have
nice.
that's the one strip time.
This is the one. Yeah, so it's copy that. And then you said it was year,
Oh, I'm gonna.
month, day, is it?
Yep.
Not sure if that's going to work, but
Yeah, I think you actually have to provide the. Yeah, so I think if we go back here, I think you need to provide.
oh, I want this one actually. That's the wrong one. I want this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want this one. String format. There you go.
But I don't think. Yeah, will that work? I don't know if that's going to work or if it's going to expect the. Yeah,
literally
you
copy it like
you
that.
have to. Yeah, you have to put like the special like percentages in.
Oops.
So, but it's yes. So it's
Oh, sorry, these ones. Yeah, I remember
yeah.
now. Right.
Oh, here we
so
go.
capital Y. Month. Usually it's an E, is it? I think. Oh no, D.
Day of the month.
Lowercase d. Because obviously, oh no, that's for that, isn't it? And then
Yeah.
where's month?
And it's. I thought it was like E. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. No. Where
Oh,
was
so
it?
it's we want 01. So D is right for day, but where's month gone? There, month. M.
Blank padded. Oh yeah. So percentage percentage M. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if they're actually universal. Them, I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure they're different in Java.
I mean, it's date time stuff, so probably not.
There we go.
Lovely.
Happy days. Right, and then we needed the last thing, which is just name, isn't it? Which
Yeah.
isn't that important really for what we're trying to do, because the system just takes a string anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It just whatever you send as a string, it just spews out. So.
yeah. So I think we
The
might as well
API does some work to sort of drop the room number in there for you, or the room name, but really it doesn't
so let's
matter what.
do name. their full name field. Yeah, that'll do. Cool.
Nice one. Mason Magoon.
And then we change it to JSON.
Great.
I don't think we... If check data will appear as a single array. Yeah, that's fine. Is that correct? There you go. Look at that.
Lovely.
And then we download that. Oh, it goes down there somewhere.
You know what so we've
that's pretty, isn't it?
so Richard and I we are big fans of this tool, and we came across it from one of our attendees from automation and testing training a couple of years back now. And to this day, we've still never signed up to Mockaroo.
Yeah,
Like sign
that's
up for
true,
free.
yeah.
We should save these things for later.
Yeah.
Pretty shocking.
I'm just starting Charles to actually test this. So Charles is a proxy that we didn't really cover it in the other challenge, did we? We were doing
We did man in the middle, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'd definitely like to do another stream at some point in the future, maybe back on the AIT stream, where we go back and do some of the codified stuff with man in the middle, because that looked fun.
Okay, right. So what we on AWS? Am I on AW1? Oh, there we go. Not enabled SSL for this one. So if we do it now, there we go. There's the report call. So I'm gonna breakpoint that. I'm gonna open my file again, which was open somewhere. Control all that. Run it again. Execute that. And then edit this response and copy in my JSON text and execute it, and hopefully we break it.
Why did that break it? Can you open up DevTools?
I reckon it's the fact that there's an array at the start. It's currently an array of an array.
Oh yes, yeah, because you need the report bit thing, don't you?
So that needs to go, doesn't it? Like that.
Yeah.
Let's try that again.
I mean, as you can tell, it's a very graceful application that deals with problematic code in a very, very sensible manner. I can't even keep a straight face.
There we go.
Lovely.
Cool. I don't know why they're formatted like that. Am I zoomed in really weird or something?
Yeah. No. What? Well, that's new.
Oh, is it because there's no dash? Are you expecting a dash?
Oh, I think you've generated the string parameter. I don't think that the parameter name's correct.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Any alternative tool for generating test data? An offline alternative? Well,
That's
I believe you can.
Next, but yeah.
I believe you can pull down a. So, like, this is like the free version of Mockaroo, Marlon. So I think that there is actually a version that you can pull down and use separately. I know there's Faker, but that is a library that's used predominantly for code. Let me see if I can find a URL to that, and I'll share it. But Faker is a tool that's used quite a lot in code-based. So say GitHub, Faker. No, not fake GitHub.
Right. So while Mark looks for that, and we'll get that.
So here's an equivalent for Ruby, which actually, to be honest, I think that
no one can see what you're doing, Mark.
Oh, I'm sharing it in the chat.
Oh.
Cool. Yeah. So I think what's interesting with that is that that actually I think is used within the tooling for. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Sorry, I tried to I tried to hide the fact that I have a guest in the room, but well, we're live streaming to the internet now, so
to the internet, really?
Yeah, to the internet. To internet. Yes. Yes, so the Faker library that I just shared, I think that's actually used by Mockaroo. Mockaroo is just providing quite a decent skin or abstraction over the top of it. But there's that was just the one I saw for Ruby. I know there's ones for JavaScript and all sorts like that. Yeah. Is there a standalone one? Like that's an interesting thing. I know. So another test data tool, but it's not necessarily for building at volume, is Bug Magnet. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like an actual standalone tool that you can
I can't
download.
think of anything. I imagine there's some sort of permutation engines like Hex and stuff, whatever it was called. Was it called Hex? I'm not sure. But no, I'm not aware of any. But yeah, Mockaroo allows us to do challenge 1, so it works. We can see on the website that the website's happy. It's got lots of data going back over the last year. It's probably more realistic than most of the data we enter that mark. It's quite valid. So yeah, now though, we do want to try and solve this in code. So I don't think we have any drawings of this off the top of my head, but let's see if we can just explain it instead. So the challenge was to create a library or package that can return random valid data for all the models in RESTful Booker Platform. Now, we're definitely not going to get through all the models, I don't think. There's far too many of them for an hour. But basically, we want to have a library, a package that we can say, give me a username, and it will give us a valid username for our system. So that's what we want to try and build. Now, Mark knows better than me, but I believe that there's some start of what we want to do in here somewhere. But I don't know which project.
What for creating data?
I know the end-to-end
through the panel. Yeah, it's probably, if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be there.
I don't think they're done.
But I don't think that. No,
correctly.
I think.
Yeah, made a start there.
I think some of this was like a hangover from when we copied this from an old project. But then I just because. Before we did our first ever automation in testing, I rebuilt this app from the ground up in a week, where I was doing basically 9 a.m. to 3 a.m.s all week trying to get it all ready. So I think I might have cut some corners with the end-to-end tests. Actually, I know we did because I was just looking at your commits of when you added the end-to-end tests in.
Okay, well, what we want to try and do, and I'm gonna take one of these smoke tests. I think, Mark, if we've got,
I would say room listing would be an interesting one to go for.
This one.
Yeah, because that's one I require some data to manipulate.
Okay, so the idea behind.
Oh, sorry. No, actually, the point of that check actually is to fill in the room details. Actually, so a lot of these are actually more focused on the risks of connections between the front end and back end APIs. So I'm trying to think which one would be good. Maybe the message smoke test, actually, just so we've got a message in there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Cool. So the idea behind the pattern that me and Mark are going to try and do, it's called the data builder pattern. So I'm going to write out, let me, oops, wrong button. No, that's still the wrong button. Oh, there you go. So I'm going to write this out as if we were going to do it. So I don't know where this came from. A chap called Alan, I'll write it, she knows. Go on, Mark. Alan
Yes, Alan Parkinson gave a talk about test data builder patterns at Selenium conference in London, the one in 2013, I think. I will dig that out and I'll share that in the chat as well.
Yeah, so the idea behind it is basically three set parts to it. So the first one is a model. So the model is a model of some data that you would require. So as we can see here, we do actually have some from previous ones. That's a bad example, but like a booking. So a booking has a first name, a last name, and a price. So that's kind of really straightforward example of a model. But if you think of your own systems, you might have a user, they have a name, an email address, some sort of privilege level, something like that. And you model that out. So you end up with, in Java world, you end up with POJOs, but just really simple objects. plain old Java objects. You can probably get these from your system. I reckon there's probably some examples of them in our system, isn't there, Mark? If we wanted to use the real ones.
One of the things you need to be aware of, though, when you do that is that you are reusing production code. So if, for example, the model was broken and you are reusing the model for your own means later, you're not going to be mitigating those risks. Which is, it might be a small concern. You might get greater benefit from those small issues, but it's still worth being aware of it.
Cool, but in this instance, we're just going to write our own for just the ease of going through this. And then you have a builder. So the builder's job is just to assign values to the model. So Marlon, where you mentioned things like Faker, this is where we might take advantage of Faker. So we know that a model needs a name and an email address, but we don't really care what they are. So we could use a library like Faker and say, just give me a random email. Maybe we can see if that's possible in this stream, but if not, that's the idea behind the builder. And you would have many builders. So you might have a builder that says, create me an admin user, create me a basic user, create me a user with a middle name. You have all the different types of builders that you need. And all it does is assigns values to the model. And then your final step is the creator. And this is the thing that physically creates it. So it could be here that you make API calls to create the data in the system for you. You might directly do database calls. Or it might even be the starting of a mock or something like that. But this is where we abstract that away. So these are the 3 levels that we're trying to achieve. So message mark. Message page. I don't know what that is. That's a page object that's in the wrong place.
That's a page object in the wrong place. Yep.
Let's move that out of the way. I don't know why it's highlighting them for me. Is it trying to move it into search?
Just drag it over page objects folder.
Okay. Why is it being awkward? Right. So let's do a message then.
Let me get the old. While you're doing that, I'll get the.
Are you taking my mouse?
I did by accident there, but I've left.
Can't get it back. It's unhappy about it. There you
go. And I will intercept the message. Well, not intercept the message, but I'll get the model for you.
Oops.
Message we want to do.
So the first step is to define all the properties that a message has, which Mark is going to grab for me now.
Yep, so I'm just grabbing these from the Swagger documentation. So, all right, this is the cool thing. Can I copy on my machine, then use together to paste? Oh, that's good. That's fancy.
So these are the properties that we need. So we definitely need a description, right? Which is going to be a string.
One thing I actually... Oh, sorry, that was me. One thing I do quite like to do, just if I don't mind me taking control for a second...
You're going to do your fancy magic?
No. Just I just like to code comment the object that I'm trying to create and keep it there. So I've got that as a reference. So it can be quite handy when, say, for example, you've got like a complex object which has like multiple sub objects and all that sort of stuff. I find that quite useful because I can see like, well, what is this object responsible for creating?
I'm having an absolute nightmare here. I can't remember how to uncomment.
It's shift command / I think.
Nope.
Tried turning it off and on again.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure there's a plugin for IntelliJ now though that translates that straight into properties for you. Like it's part of IntelliJ.
There is. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
But I've not used it. So right, so we're just gonna fly through these. We don't really care what they are. Why am I writing email? So with message ID we don't need, do we, Mark? Because we can't force the message ID, can we?
No. So the message, the message ID is actually created by the API, so we don't need to worry about that.
Is
Yeah,
Is it
that's
string
one of
for
the
the phone?
things that's a bit. I don't know if I'm using Swagger wrong or Spring Fox wrong, or if it's just a bit of an annoyance with using Swagger.
Cool. So yeah, these are our default models, and then we need to do, sadly, do getters and setters for all these. But I'm hoping that IntelliJ is going to do that for me.
Generate,
Yeah.
getter and setters. Select them all. Except you've.
Though, didn't it?
Oh yeah. I don't know. That might be some insane way in which you format your stuff, where you put all your variables at the bottom or something.
No. So, okay, so there's our basic model. Again, bit tedious, but it's kind of thing once you've done it once, you've kind of done that. So that's the start of our 3 steps here, is we now have a model, which we could get at if we want, but we don't really need the model for this layer. Our second thing we need is to actually add a builder. So we currently don't have any builders. Whoa. It does not like...
Yes, Marlon, we have used Lombok, but or at least I've used Lombok. The only reason why I don't put Lombok into this project is that I feel that sometimes you need to understand Lombok abstracts a lot of stuff, and sometimes that abstraction means you don't really get an appreciation of what's actually going on behind the scenes. So it's a case of we avoid it for teaching purposes more than anything. So it's it's nothing against Lombok itself. Also, I believe that you have some additional setup with IntelliJ and Lombok sometimes, and that can be a headache. And we already have a lot of setup stuff to do for our workshop at times anyway. So yeah, that's something to consider. But yeah, it's a good point to mention and a good tool to sort of shout out about, really.
Right, I can't remember our name conventions for these things, because it's been ages since I wrote one, but I can't remember if we used the word, I think we used message builder, and then it's now the type of message that we wanted, isn't it?
Yes.
And now we need to...
Well, this is a contact.
Anything, so we don't need anything now.
The model that you're using is the one that's used for the contact form, I believe. Yeah. So you could call it like a contact message if you wanted.
Cool. And again, we're not doing any fancy var and malarkey. We're going to keep it nice and simple for now. Zoom in on that a little bit more. So yeah, now we just set the values that we want. So we can go ahead and just set everything that we want to do. So this is a booking inquiry for the 14th of April 2021. That's going to be a good day. Zoomed in a little bit much. So whatever values you need for your specific test, we probably should have started with the test mark, but never mind. We'll do that later, I guess. We'll set the email to the most famous overused email address in the world.
Or the most spammed.
Yeah, the most spammed. I think this is my name or the person's name, so they're going to be called Joe Blogs. And then we've got...
Did you ever own any Joe Blogs, like, t-shirts and stuff? Like back in the 90s.
I don't think so.
Oh, my mum went through there was this fashion brand called Joe Blogs that existed for a while, and I got mocked mercilessly for wearing it because children are the worst. Really, when it comes to this stuff. But I used to. I had a T-shirt that said, I think it was it was kind of like plugging into that whole "just say no" sort of thing. So, but yeah, whenever I think of Joe Blogs, I always think of those T-shirts and stuff.
Nice. Right, so Mark, my memory is telling me that we did some sort of what's the word for this? Fluent malarkey where we were able to. I think we used to do .build.create,
Yes.
but I don't know how to do
Yeah.
that. I can't remember.
Yes. So what you do is within your model,
Yep.
within your model class, you have a subclass which is your builder. So inside message, that's your thing. Then if I bear me a second, I'll just remember what the syntax is. But I think I've got it elsewhere.
While you do that, I'll create the creators.
This is where I realise I've deleted that project that I wanted. No, it's still here. Source, main, data builder. Still a commit in this project that says Mark's greater than Richard.
Yeah, sorry, it's been a while since we've done this. In our current jobs, our dev boss does all this for us, and it's all in Ruby. So I haven't written Java for a long time either.
So in here we create a new class, and we call it public static class, and we can call this the message builder. And then you have to copy these in here.
Oh no, I've created the builder class. I've done that.
Oh,
already.
There
was a way of doing it so that you basically said create. You would do builder.build, whatever it was, message builder.build.
Yeah, so this is how I would do it. So I would put this in here. So this is off the model class. So you do message builder and then set all your variables and then do .build,
that's
and that
what we're doing here.
Right. Okay.
So this is the time. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It will still work. I just can't remember the nice way of wording it.
Okay, I'll delete this, and maybe I'll show you my approach maybe another time.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this, and then that's it. I think you need to return this. That's why. That's what I'm forgetting. So this needs to return the message model.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then when we call the creator, we pass it in the message model, which it gets from here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, now it's the creator side. So we now need a single method, which I'm not sure what it should return, but for now I'm going to leave it as void.
Someone else remembers Joe Vlogs. Good vibes. I remember. That makes me feel like I'm not completely losing my marbles. I might have done just a quick Google to see if I could find it, and I couldn't find anything. So I'm glad I'm glad it's not something I just made up in my own head. Who knew a stream about test automation would turn into? Do you remember 90s fashion?
Oops. Right. So yeah, now the creator accepts a model, but now we need to actually build it, Mark. So now we actually have to write some code that either calls an API or goes to the DB. What would you rather do?
I would do on the API for this because it's an end-to-end stuff, and
okay,
it's not as straightforward to connect to the databases once everything's deployed.
So the first of all, we're not going to have time on this one. But the actual thing that you meant to do with the data builder pattern, which is why it's more powerful, is you're first meant to see if there is one. So we've kind of done this back to front, Mark. So let's say we start with a UI test, and the job of the test is to go to the UI and to check that there's a message. So if we go back into here, you can see that there's a message, right? So my test just wants to check that there's a number 1. So I actually don't care about the message. I just need to just needs to be an unread message. So what you would actually do in the data builder pattern is have a creator that says, is there a message there already that's unread? If so, just tell me what it is. If there isn't one, then I need to create one. Does that make sense, Mark?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so you're not just filling your database with just loads and loads of extraneous test data. It's a case of being a bit smarter with what you've got as well.
Yeah, and the idea behind it is none of your production systems are clean, yet we always test on clean systems. But actually, in production, there's a whole host of there's a whole host of data that's been there for years, that could cause your test to fail and often causes you to trip up in live. So yeah, we'll share a link actually. There's a talk on my YouTube channel. But yeah, the idea behind the creator code is I need A being, in this instance, a message with the properties that we've defined here. So I need a message with this information in. And then what you're meant to do here is ask the system, is there one? And if there is one, then tell me there is, and then I'll carry on with my test. And if there isn't one, I want you to create one for me. So as I mentioned before, I want an admin user. I don't care about the name, the password, the username. That's not of interest to me. But I need an admin user, so give me one. And then tell me what the username is so I can actually log in with it.
So just while you were doing that, I just thought for expediency, I've just dropped in the HTTP code to send a request that we'll need. So I'm just importing the library that we need, which is Spring WebMVC. We could use other stuff if we wanted, but I know that it works with this. Okay, and that's done. So I should be able to now. Why can't import class? There we go. Media type. Okay, so we don't want this to be a bug model. We want this to be a message. So what we're saying is create an HTTP request with an HTTP entity or our request with the message model inside it. We change that to message model. Cool. And then let's change this. Oh no, they're going to find out our login details for Bugzilla that we haven't used for about 5-6 years. Okay, let's do that.
I'm not even sure what you've done here. Oh, you're doing native. You're not even using Rest Assured.
No, because I mean, for me, Rest Assured is a tool that's used for testing API. APIs. I don't know why I said it like that, but I do think that it's not. Yeah, it's not really. It's overkill as a library to do for everything. Right. I know we should do stuff with base URL and stuff. We're doing this locally, aren't we?
We can do. It's running.
Yeah. So let's do localhost. Just 8080. And then REST template. Oh, I need to create a REST template, which is, bear me a second. Yeah. Oops. Private REST. Oh, the lag. Template. REST template equals new REST template. God, you gotta love Java. I don't really need that, do I? No. And then this, I think, just has a. Oh, okay, cool. So for the create, we want it to
response. Yeah.
Do we need? Yeah. Do we want to return? Well, let's return a string for now. We could do that. Just.
Well, you can just add it to the same model. You just need to add ID, right? That's the only thing that's different.
Yes. Yeah. So then all we need to do is change the void to message, and away we go.
But you need to add ID, otherwise it's going to fail to parse, isn't it?
Yeah. So just to talk through this real quickly, we create a REST template, which is basically what we're going to inject all of our HTTP requests into to send off to the API, because Java. Then we create our headers for our HTTP request. We only need one, application JSON, because we're sending a raw request. And then here is where I actually build like the main HTTP request. So I'm saying that I want my request headers and my model to be added into this HTTP entity. and then we use the exchange function or method to send the request, which adds kind of the last bits to complete the HTTP request, which is the URI, or the URL in this case, the fact that we want to do it as a post, and then at the end, the entity itself with the model and the headers. And then this is like what Richard and I were just talking about, which is like how do we want to return the response body back? So basically, what Java model are we going to use to inject the response data into that we can use later? So yeah, you said we need to go back to.
We just need to add ID to the message one,
ID,
because
yeah.
we don't have ID.
Leave it because I did a weird.
I assume.
I did something odd in GitHub and it all went funny orange coloured. I don't really know why. Lovely, 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 lovely.
I wish it wouldn't do that. That's really annoying. Whoops. Cool. So now if we go back, so yeah, now we have the model, which is again plain old Pojo. We have the builder where we're assigning the test values that we're interested in for this specific scenario, and now we have a creator that will physically actually call it and create it. So in our actual smoke test, we should be able to not write that one because that's the wrong one. So I would just call it test message equals. So then we go into the message creator. Oops. Oh, that should be static anyway, shouldn't it? But never mind. Just do it this way for now. Oh god, I hate writing Java. It's been so long. And then we do message builder. It's gonna have to be new as well, isn't it? Because I've not made any of these things.
Yeah, and that was what I was trying to do. I was trying to make it static to call, rather than.
Yeah. Well, let's just do that for the builders anyway. Just change it a bit.
See, it's all this lovely, shiny, expressive.
What have I done wrong?
You need to put that in your constructor, I think, rather than. Yeah, that's what happens when you've got all this. Expressive language that you get from there you go, yep. From using Ruby.
It's true. Fix that. Cool. So well, I've scrolled it out of view now. Well, there we go. Right. Let's zoom out a little bit. It's a bit big. There we go. So now we're asking for a test message. We're asking the creator to build us one using the builder and the actual version that we want. So in theory, that should create a message. What's the rest of this test doing, Mark? So we are navigating, we are looking at messages. And
yeah, we get the list of messages and we want to say it's greater than 0.
Well, we know it's currently 1.
Yeah, so we can tweak this. Yeah, we could tweak this assertion a little bit rather
I've got
than.
a problem, Mark.
What's that?
No, I don't. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if we're going to follow Sacred, I would probably do the message creation before we start going to the site and clicking on stuff. And while you're doing that, fun fact about Joe blogs: the word blogs apparently is an old English word that comes from Norfolk, which is my way. So, yeah, I live in the land of blogs.
Well, the API stuff was happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it created a message. So let's refresh.
We'll give it a refresh.
No, it didn't.
No.
And it didn't fail either. Did you use the different URL in the end? I can't remember. Oh, you did. You changed it to local. That's why. So let's go and change the smoke test to use local as well.
I should have done that. Yeah.
Oh, it did. So it's my fault. I was looking at the wrong URL. Okay, let me get rid of this and actually go to local.
So use it for once. Use it or lose it. Or turn it
Here's
off.
me thinking it didn't work, and it perhaps did.
There you
I've
go.
got two
Yeah, so
messages. There
like
we go.
the assertion is quite open, because the idea is
Yeah,
for that check, it's just like, can I read it? Can I see some messages? But that said, like, that initial message is seeded in when the API turns on. So you could argue that rather than relying on seeded data, you could use the pattern that you've just built to make sure that we've got one thing created.
So obviously, if we wanted to now, we could carry on and actually do a proper scenario. So the scenario being you wanted to read the message, we could go on and finish in the rest of the actual code to check the page.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's worth doing it, because you can see it's created.
And I think our time's coming up anyway.
Yeah. So now we have, if we wanted to, and we did have more things in here, such as read the message, we would then just be able to do, test message, dot read, get the email and stuff, and actually use that in our code. So no hard coded values. It's all abstracted away. And even if we wanted to try a different scenario now, we would only have to change the builder to a different one. Such as, as I mentioned before, like long surname message, whatever scenarios you needed. You would just keep adding them and adding them.
And to bring back the faker stuff, this is where fakers can be quite useful, because you could drop a tool like that and then it just says, create me a random message. And rather than hard coding these emails, descriptions and all that sort of stuff, you just use the faker tool and do something like faker dot surname.
We've got 5 minutes, so let's see if there is a Java faker. I've never looked at it myself. Jaker.
Of course it's called Jaker. Of course it's called Jaker.
Oh, that's definitely not used for a long time.
Java faker, spelled Joker 2020. Cool name.
There we go.
Lovely.
Let's see if this one's active. 4 months, 2 months. Yeah, looks promising. It's all passing as well. So let's try and stick this in there. See, I'm going straight to Atom now because I'm so used to writing in Ruby. Right, pom.
Pom.
Click on my little Maven.
Don't forget why they turned auto import off, I don't know. Drives me insane.
So faker new faker. Faker.name, faker.email, I hope there's a faker.address. So let's quickly try faker.email and see if that works.
Yeah, all roads lead back to like various flavors of faker. They all lead back to the Ruby one.
Everything Ruby for the win. No, I really struggle with my Ruby. It's not as strong as it should be.
I think it's name, yeah.
So we don't have email, but you got internet. Okay, so
internet
we need to understand
address.
the categories.
Cool.
Right, so there we go. Let's try. So I would say while we're discussing this, the only problem with things like this is if you've got to be careful that you lose some of your deterministicness. I can't think of the right word. When you use libraries like Faker. So there's a high possibility that you'll find some bugs because it's going to choose a name that might cause your system to have an issue. Perhaps it's too long or too short, and that's good because you'll find a bug. But it will also stop you getting information about how you think your system would work. So they have a place, and I think they are useful. But sometimes you need to keep it, consistent and make sure you get the right data.
It necessitates I think that's a real word. Good cleanup as well. So, because I can see like an example where you've got one test that creates data up or creates records in your application, and you're running a bunch of tests there. Then later on, you do a search. You're searching for a specific name, and 5 times you run it and it passes, but then the 6th time it fails, and that's because an extra record has appeared in your search results because the faker has just happened to pick a name or pick some sort of data that means that it gets pulled into the search. So, there's a good example there as well of not just your check failing because you're trying to inject data in a way that's invalid, but also stray data appearing from previous checks later on. I love the fact that there's a Rick and Morty library in there, though. That makes me
Okay,
smile.
so what does phone number return? It's returning a phone
Provided
number. Wow,
phone
I didn't even
number.
know there was a
Do you
type
do-
called phone number.
I don't think there is.
let's
Do you not have to do a dot after that? And
Yeah.
no, not to string. No, not to string. There's like other functions there.
Oh, was there? Is that what was
Yeah.
stopping me? Oh, that's what I wanted. Thanks.
Phone number, cell phone.
Cool. All right. Well, let's give that one a go.
This might be
we'll
interesting
call it
because
quits.
we don't know what format the phone number is going to come in, so it may cause a bit of an issue with the old validation. But we
Well,
shall
if the
find
browser
out.
opens, you're happy. Oh, it's got past your bit. But then we're not doing any assertions, so who knows? No, there's no message there, Mark.
Well, that's because
Oh no, there is. There you go. So it chose Brenton and Noel Samlack at hotmail.com. Oh, it's an American phone number.
522-045-3817. Yeah, that's good. It's good to know that the validation is permissive enough that it'll actually take non-British phone numbers.
So to recap, basically, as I said, the idea: model, builder, creator. So the model just being the basic Pojo, you can probably get it from the app, but if not, it's not too difficult to maintain your own. Then you have builders, which is where you have all your different flavors of that kind of data. So as we mentioned, thinking of user permissions is what most people can relate to. I want a user with this privilege, with this name, with that email. I want a user who lives in this country. You set up the things you want. And as we mentioned, hard code the things that you definitely need to be a specific way, and then maybe use libraries like Faker just to give you a bit of variety in other areas, but you do run the risk that you're not controlling your data as much. So while it's unlikely and it probably might be of interest to you, you might get some failed checks because Faker's created a certain type of data you weren't expecting, which can be good, but not necessarily good if you want to make sure your check is still working with the data that you wanted. So mix and match them, which is what the builder pattern helps with. Go on, Mark.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think sometimes using Faker on a sort of maybe more global level might work better because then it's sort of, you've created your data before you run anything. So you're like, right, we know these are the things that have been created for this instance. Maybe.
And then your final step is your creator. And as I said, in a full-blown data builder pattern, you would first say, do you have one of these, yes or no? If you do, tell me what it is, so that your test can use it. So if there already is one, the system would return, your code would grab hold of it and return it here, so you can use it. But if there isn't one, you code in a way for it to create one. In this instance, we've gone down the API route, but you could call your database directly. Again, it's completely up to you. I've even done it via the UI in some systems because it was the only option I had. But the nice thing about the pattern is I can, because it's abstracted nicely, I can just update my creators and everything will magically, fix itself.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter how you create it. You can have them here and you can have different creators. You might do some on the API, some on the DB. Again, it's all up to you. So yeah, we could now, if we had, a good few hours, we could crack on and implement the rest of the models, but we're not going to do that. So we haven't completed the challenge, Mark, but at least we've done our POC and we could carry on if we wanted to.
It'd probably be quicker and really because we wouldn't have to write half as much boilerplate.
True. So yeah, that's it then. And there's, nicely abstracted away various clear layers, your tests that don't have any reference to any hard-coded data. It's all taken away. It's all can be abstracted. It can all be, made as dry and as clean as possible. But yeah, that's roughly the data builder pattern. I think I will quickly plug the YouTube video for it because I think both of them are actually on here. So I think if you do data builder pattern testing, you might get both the videos. Yeah, so there's mine, which explains it visually. And then if we, so the data builder
Alan's
pattern.
just a little bit further down there.
Oh, was it? Did you see
Yeah.
it? Oh, yeah,
Yep,
and
there you
there's
go.
Alan's from the Selenium conference, which was the first time we were familiar with it. So yeah, I've heard it called the builder pattern. I've heard it called data builder pattern. I've heard it called data mothers. I imagine someone else knows better names for it. But yeah, that's how me and Mark have done data in the past.
Yep.
Look at
Some
that.
interesting other videos there as well to check out.
90 seconds over. All right, job done.
Brilliant. Awesome.
Thank you all for watching.
We should probably just mention that this is the last of our streams. That we are picking what we're going to do. We do have a wild card challenge for tomorrow evening at from 8 p.m. till 9 p.m. GMT. So come along, maybe suggest something that we could have a go at. I think it's 8 p.m. till 9 p.m.
Yep.
Yes. So yeah, we'll do a wild card one. You can choose one of the challenges for us to do, and we will do it. And then also we have test.bash on Thursday, where people have been doing these challenges themselves. If you would, there's still time to potentially come on and solve one of the challenges and give an experience report, which would be really cool if you can come and join us. Or if not, just come and attend and see some interesting reports on how people have approached these different challenges, different to how we might have done them, and learn about what they liked and what they didn't like and that sort of thing.
So yeah, you can attend that on Thursday. It's part of Ministry of Testing Pro, or you can buy a one-off ticket for £75. Just head to the URL, and yeah, you can grab yourself a ticket and meet quite a lot of different people there, different stories, different tools, different problem-solving approaches. It should be a really, really good conference, and it's on for 12 hours. It's all recorded as well, but you've got to be pro to see the recordings. Or I said grab a ticket, but ideally join live, join in the chat like you have done with me and Mark. Really appreciate that, Owen, Marlon, and Helgi. Excellent there.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. That was cool.
And yeah, we'll see you online.
See you later, people.
Bye, everyone. Bye.